Hi, my name is Jeremy Caldwell. Today I'm going to talk to you about theater's impact on social change issues in the 1980s and today. Theater was a ginormous catalyst for social change. For social change. And in this video, I'm going to show you that we can end hate, prejudice, and ignorance just by getting to know each other a little bit better. So let's get started. Now, the 1980s was a huge step for the LGBT organization. They were fighting a lot of battles to make leaps and bounds, but their biggest fight of all was with the AIDS epidemic. When AIDS first broke out in the 1980s, it was a huge spread, and it was commonly referred to as either the gay disease or the gay virus, even though scientists proved that anyone can get it or give it. So the organization tried very hard to reach out to the Reagan administration to get some kind of legislation passed for medicine or research or anything, but the Reagan administration dragged their feet a lot. And they weren't being heard, and they were losing brothers and sisters and loved ones and spouses and partners each and every single day. So in 1985, a playwright named Larry Kramer wrote the play The Normal Heart. The Normal Heart followed a gay man named Ned Weeks, whose partner was dying of AIDS, and who was part of an organization that Kramer was a part of to get research and to get funding to fight AIDS. And this is a quote from Kramer himself on basically the organization he was with and why he wrote The Normal Heart. He said, "We had a lot of fights. But when it became the bureaucracy that it is today, I hated it. Bureaucracy is for people to hide behind who haven't got the guts to speak up. So I wrote the play The Normal Heart. That was my way of trying to get the word out." And The Normal Heart did get that word out. And this is a quote from Brett Zonger from the Huffington Post. He said, "There were a lot of people that, here's a big news flash, that are still homophobic. And people came to see this play, and I know their minds were changed." And I think that speaks to the kind of experience that this play was, because this play not only showed the fight and the struggle that this organization and their people had to go through to even get some ounce of attention that their loved ones were dying. It not only showed that, but it showed what this disease was doing to a relationship. And it showed a love story between a man who was trying to fight to save a man who was dying. And what this play did was it showed people their struggle and their turmoil and what they went through. I think it gave people a much better understanding, and they connected with it a lot more. So the next playwright and author that and plays that I'm going to talk about, Mr. August Wilson. Now, the 1980s was a trying time for African Americans. There were a lot of African Americans who were struggling financially and with family, and they were very impoverished, and it wasn't a good time for them. They couldn't get ahead because of racial tensions that still were there, and it was very hard for them to get ahead, and they struggled a lot in the 1980s. And so August Wilson wrote a series of 10 or 11 plays called The Pittsburgh Cycle. Basically, these 10 plays, each play takes place in a different decade, and each play is basically about it's basically a story about the struggles that African Americans went through in that time period. Weirdly enough, ironically enough, Wilson actually didn't write the play that takes place in the 1980s. He actually wrote that in the 90s. He wrote 3 plays in the 1980s. The first play was Joe Turner, Come and Gone, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and The Piano Lesson. Now, even though these plays did take place in different time periods, the thing that linked these plays together, and the thing that linked it to that linked sort of the influence to the 1980s, was the fact that the African Americans in this play and the families in these plays could not get ahead, despite how good they were at anything, or despite how skilled they were at anything, or how much heart they had, or how much love they had, or how good of people they were. They could not get ahead in these plays. And so that it really shows that August Wilson was it shows like the correlation between the time that he lived in and sort of the struggle he was trying to portray and inform people of. And this is a quote from Wilson himself. He said, "I think my plays offer a different look at Black Americans. For instance, in Fences, they see a garbage man, a person they don't really look at, although they see a garbage man every day. By looking at Troy's life, white people can find the content of this black garbage man's life as affected by the same things: love, honor, beauty, betrayal, and duty. Recognizing that these things are as much a part of his life as theirs can affect how they think about and deal with black people in their lives." And so basically, to bring this full circle, I feel as though that both these plays do very, very well, and that I think that that what had the biggest impact and that can still have an impact today is the fact that they showed people who had completely different lives and lived completely different lifestyles and who were unaware of all this. They gave them basically a look into their lives, and they took them on a journey into their lives and their struggles and their emotions and their families. And not only did they do that, but they made the audience connect with them, especially and just like I said with A Normal Heart, someone losing their loved one or their other half, everyone can imagine that. Everybody can imagine that pain. And so when you connect with your audience emotionally, whether you guys are from two completely different worlds, when you guys when a playwright and an actor and an audience member can connect with a story emotionally like that, that can tear down walls and barriers and everything. And these plays demonstrated that very, very well. And they gave people a look into the struggles and the day-to-day lives of these people. And so that can change somebody's attitude immensely. And so I feel as though today that I hope by watching this video and by listening to this project that some of you are inspired to go out and read some of these plays and to get this experience and to go on this journey with these people and to live in their lives. And also I hope people are inspired to go and to record their own experience and put it out there and show people, you know, their lives, so like people can get to know them and get to know their struggle, and through that understanding, I think we can all really come together and help each other out. And so but yeah, I really hope you guys are inspired by this, and I hope you enjoyed this. So thank you.